Now, the rest of the story.
What are we up to? Well, I can tell you what I'm up to. Well, those aren't for spraying fertilizer, or at least not how I apply fertilizer. I went down to actually check my hay in storage, to see if it is cooling down, which it didn't get hot by any means. It got up to 89 degrees through its sweat, and it's dropping back down to those low 80s. So I think any real concerns or worrying about that first cutting stuff that was made a month ago is in the last few days actually starting to cool down now, is in the clear. But I was looking across some of my regrowth for second cut, which second cut isn't going to be made till probably the 1st September, just the way things look. And if I make a second cut the 1st of August, even if it looks like it's worth it, it's going to completely sink me for any chance of a third cut, because there just isn't going to be enough there to justify it. Tear the equipment up, drag it across the field. I did it last year and it was a fail. So with knowing that I'm going to be going until another month and a half, 45 days approximately, was it today the 10th or the 11th of July, looked across the field, and one of the 7-acre pieces didn't look as dark green or as green as it really should be, all things considered, and walked across it. Didn't have to walk very far across it, but that field in particular is just overflowing with grasshoppers and bugs and whatnot, to the point where the crop damage, granted it's just grass, is very obvious. And that's even saying for somebody that if you pulled somebody from town, send them across the field and says, what do you see? Somebody that has no agricultural background would say that there's a lot of bug damage. So right now I'm waiting on insecticide, waiting on the tender. Just got done getting this set back up. I switched all the nozzles out for a different spray pattern, right? And this is actually the first time I've ran it like this. I've never done any weeds. I've never done insecticide. I bought this thing for spraying fertilizer, liquid 32, which is, unfortunately, I didn't run any water through it the last time I used it, which I really should have. And I got a little bit across the boom, which is fine because the sprayer is what it's worth. It's not a high dollar sprayer, and I've actually probably already got my money out of it. You can see, even with the liquid 32, a year like this is exactly why I went with doing the liquid. I don't have the picture. I don't know if I'll put it in the video. Whatever. But I did the dry fertilizer in the spring. I had that video. It was very obvious where the dry fertilizer was. I did the liquid fertilizer 3 weeks ago now. I think it was 3 weeks would be about right. And I know where there's places where I didn't spray. I just couldn't get to it with the booms. It's uneven down there. And once again, a clear line as to where that 32 is, to where it didn't get any fertilizer. And the reason I did liquid is because if you get a drier year, which I don't know what's the best way to say it. We're not exactly dry. It's just that the showers we're getting, I'd say, is a classic example of being spoon-fed just enough moisture to keep the crops growing. And it's really making winners and losers depending on where you're at across the county. You go 10 miles west of here, and one of my farms is probably chest high. It definitely didn't get as much moisture. It's not like super uneven and variable. It's just, it's really starting to take off now, which is unfortunate. And down around here, we've only had one shower, maybe two, over an inch. Otherwise, it's been 2/10, 6/10, 7/10. I think the last one last night was 2/10 yesterday. It seemed like a lot. Thunderstorms and everything else woke Relina up, but in the end it was only 2/10 of rain, and it sounded like it was a lot more. So it's enough to keep the crops growing, and as long as that doesn't stop, we're looking to be all right crop wise. But then as far as the grass crop, the hay crop, pastures really aren't doing a whole lot. I mean, hay prices got a little soft here this last auction after the 4th of July, and I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that it was a holiday weekend the week before, or if people just loaded up the previous week knowing that there was a holiday coming up, or what. It's not like I'm looking at it like I'm gonna just start selling hay. I mean, my original plan was November, and as of lately, that's still my intentions. But it's good practice just to keep an eye on the prices to see what they're doing. Like corn and bean prices. Corn is down, what, $1? Beans are down, are they down a full $1 yet? I'm not sure. So the reason I don't like the 3-point sprayer is because all that weight is hanging off the back end of the tractor. I have it on a heavy tractor as it is, which is probably working in my favor the most, because with the full fuel tank on the front and all the weights in the front of the tractor, it keeps the front wheels on the ground 99% of the time, you know, as long as you're watching where you're going. Myself, I'd rather have it on the 76. The big reason I'd prefer it on the 76 is 100% because of the front wheel tires. You get into softer ground or get into a situation where, you know, if you guys saw that video where I was reclaiming the bottom ground and it got soft on me like that, I may have been a little distracted, but at least the front end tires will at least help you get you out of where you are. And that's kind of why I'm a little leery about going down and spraying for bugs. It needs to be done. They're calling for more and more rain here the next few days. I mean, I'm still sitting on my hands waiting for a chance to make hay. I make dry hay. I don't wrap it. I don't do anything else like that. There is no decent market for wrapped hay. There isn't in this area. If it's not dry, you're basically giving away your crop. It's not worth it for the plastic, and nobody wants to buy water. And when you're wet wrapping feed, nobody wants to pay for that. It's dry hay. It's where it's at. That's why that's why I'm still sitting on a bunch of first cut. We aren't doing too bad considering we were 130 acres done. We had another 12, 5, so 22 acres on top of that. So we're over 150 some acres of hay we've made this year, all for dry hay. And back when we were milking cows and we chopped all the month of June, all first crop went up the tube. It didn't matter if it got rained on, but it's just a different way we're making hay now. So I can't quite be as flexible as I used to. That's why my goals are for 2 cuttings. If I get it made for the most part around the middle of July, I'll let it go till September like I did last year, and we'll see how it turns out. I mean, my regrowth down there looks pretty awesome. I mean, where the bugs haven't gotten into it, and it's really just 1 7-acre field. But I gotta spray everything, because if you don't, then the bugs that don't get knocked out are just gonna move to the areas that weren't treated. So, you know, I'm very much aware of that. That's why I'm using this and not the Gator sprayer, because Ryan did use the sprayer in the back of the Gator for a bunch of his and Dad's. I mean, just the fields that really needed it. Thing's super handy. I would actually prefer to use that, but I need to be able to cover acres in a short amount of time. 300 gallons at 12.5 gallons to the acre. Be able to cover a lot of ground fairly quick. I was putting down 25 gallon to the acre of 32. If I had a 500 gallon sprayer, which it's on the list of things I want to upgrade to, getting a 500 gallon tow behind, spread some of that weight out, and I would really look into at least getting the wiring harness put in the 76 so I could spray with this and do our pre-emerge and my hay spraying. And if I want to do any fall spraying, I could. But with 300 gallon tanks, or a 300 gallon tank on this thing, you just don't get enough acres covered, and you're going back and filling up again, and it just seems like you're not getting anywhere. So, you know, push for a 500-gallon tank. I appreciate this one because it's got me started on spraying like I want, but I need to upgrade. I've been told that I need to be spraying our own crops. That actually hasn't left my mind. It's on my mind. We just got to get it set up for it, and we aren't currently. I'm not gonna. There's no way you're gonna get me to start in spraying all of our pre-emerge with this. It ain't gonna happen. It just isn't. I need something with foldable booms, a more structurally sound boom, because this one has seen a lot better days. And like I said, I put what money I put into it just so I could be putting down the liquid 32, which I got my money out of it that way. I honestly believe that. By putting down the liquid 32, it allows it to get into the plant roots a lot easier with less moisture, as opposed to putting dry on in the middle of the summer. You're not waiting for the moisture. Say if we would have stayed drier, you're not waiting for the moisture to break down that dry fertilizer and then get it into the roots. I mean, this has plant availability written all over it going this route. And it's, for only doing this my second year, I can definitely tell I'm on the right track as far as that goes. So I'm kind of making a lot of this stuff up as I go and just seeing what works, which can be kind of tedious because who doesn't want to start and like be at the finish line in, you know, 2 steps, right? I just want to be doing it the right way right off the bat, but that just isn't an option. So, oh well, I got a lot of years ahead of me yet as far as farming goes, so I'd rather learn it now than the last few years, right? But that's all I got for this video. I actually got to start filling this up, and at least I'll be that much farther ahead in the liquid there. So thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Take it easy. Keep in touch. Talk to you guys later.